Hey everyone, Joe here. Well, today I got some photos for you to check out. Now, this is all high ISO photos. I think starting out at maybe 800 and going all the way up. Now, I want to give a few forewarnings here. Don't look at these images for sharpness. All these photos were shot on the Sigma 18 to 250 lens, which is a good lens, but it's not the sharpest tool in my kit. So don't expect 18 to 35 art lens quality sharpness on these photos, and that's not why I'm showing you these anyway. These were some photos I took with my 18 to 250 while traveling, going through a bird park in Malaysia, testing out the high ISO capabilities of the new Canon 80D. So that's what we're looking at here. We're going to look at how well does the ISO hold up when in photos and stuff. And tell you what, I was pretty impressed, and I think by going with these photos, you might be fairly impressed yourself. Especially coming from the 70D, I think this is a pretty good leap up from what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting this good of a quality. So let's get in here and start with our first photo. Like I said, don't look for the sharpness. The 18 to 250 is excellent travel lens, my favorite travel lens, but I wouldn't expect to print anything hugely big and it be as sharp as something I'm used to with the 1835. Alright, let's get in here. Let's look at the first one. The first image here I got shot at ISO 800 at 250mm, f7.1, 1/250 and of course I shot all these at 1/250 because using TV mode. And for what I see right here, because keep in mind I have not added any noise reduction here, none whatsoever on any of these photos. Matter of fact, I even went in and removed the sharpening on all the images so you don't confuse the sharpening with any noise. And from just looking at this photo alone right now at ISO 800, my monitor is a 32-inch display, so I would have a very good, like 17, I don't know what size. I think it's about a 17 by 14-inch photo size that I'm looking at right here, and I can't see any noise, no whatsoever. Now let's zoom in 1:1, and you can see there is noise, but very, very little for something that has had no noise reduction. Now these two spots, just in case anybody's wondering, are bugs. I had to go take double look in some other photos and they wasn't there right after I took these photos of the same bird. So anyway, looking at this alone, I am actually very impressed. There's a lot cleaner shadows, a lot less color noise in the shadows than what we was used to with this not 80, with the 70D. So from this photo right here alone, I'm impressed. Okay, now the next photo I have here is ISO 1250, 73mm, f5.6, 1/250, obviously. And as you can see, no noise reductions done. And just to prove to everybody, I'm going to go click on the develop module here. No sharpening, no noise reduction. Of course, luminance. Now, you do have the basic color default in of noise reduction for that, not touching it. So anyway, let's see here. Let's just zoom in. You see there is noise, obviously. There's going to be until you do noise reduction. But it's fairly clean. And if you was to print any of these out on like 14-inch prints, you wouldn't notice it even without even doing any noise reduction. So it's impressive. Now I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, the Sony a6300 is a lot better. Yes, it is. If you can get the damn thing to focus in the shadows. There's your catcher. The Canon 80D has no problems whatsoever focusing through any dark shadows. So anyway, okay, next photo here, ISO 1600. Let's take a look. Still noise, not bad. You're starting to get to the point where ISO 1600, it's still pretty decent. This is, about what I would expect from ISO 800. I would say like an older camera, maybe like the T3i or whatever. No, actually, it's a lot better. So anyway, it's looking fairly decent, not too bad. Let's go to our next image here. Now we're jumping on up here to ISO 4000. And you can see it's still holding up quite good. And we zoom in, you can still see just a little bit of noise, and you're starting to lose a little bit of dynamic range. Image starting to be a little softer, but really, even at ISO 4000, if you went in here to the develop module, doing just a little bit of noise reduction here, a little bit of sharpening. Oh, I threw in a lot of noise reduction. I'm going to remove some of that. Put it back on 20. You know, throw a little sharpening. Now just a kick of contrast here. You know, the image looks really great. You know, I wouldn't say you could print this out at a 24 by 36 poster size, but if you was printing out anything, even 14 to 17 inch prints, you're still good to go with this. You wouldn't notice anything. Now, one reason you're going to notice less noise is because the higher megapixels on the camera, it's making the ISO noise less noticeable. So that's a good thing. Alright, let's go back to the library here. Let's go to our next photo. Alright, here's one I took, ISO 5000. Yeah, we're getting on up there pretty good. You know, like I said, you can see a lot of luminance noise. You lost some dynamic range, be expected. But really, that's at 5000, that is not bad. If you want to print out 8 by 10, this is still very usable at 8 by 10, even before you've done any noise reduction. So, you know, very, very good there. All right, now next photo. Here's some of the owls and stuff, and this is shot at ISO 6400. And it's looking pretty good. Now, you can start to notice right now some noise and stuff. Even on my monitor, you know, zoomed out, starting to notice a little bit of noise, but it's not bad. Of course, like I said, my monitor is 32-inch display, so I'm seeing a lot of detail here. But if I went over here and did just a little bit of noise reduction, you know, just say basic noise reduction, do a little bit of sharpening, default, a little noise reduction, say 20, which is not a lot for this. Kick it a little bit of contrast for that one. Since this is pretty low, let's kick the color up to 50. You know, boom, this is very nice. This is actually pretty decent. You know, no problems whatsoever. Alright, of course you want to kick it with a vibrance. It's losing a little bit because of the high ISO. But yeah, it's still very recoverable. You know, I would not be ashamed to print this out and say like 14, 17 inch prints and give to somebody because they would not notice any noise. And that's one thing I also do like about the this new sensor. Even the noise that you do got looks pleasant. You know, before I got the 70D, the noise was just horribly ugly. And so if you do have any kind of ISO noise on these, it looks normal, like more like it's like a film grain. It's not something you would unexpect, something that doesn't look natural. So that I like. Now I have one more photo here. Now this photo is a JPEG, but it is extremely high ISO. And the reason I took it as a JPEG is because if you're going to shoot at the maximum ISO, native ISO of this camera, and I didn't go any higher than 16,000. Oh, yeah, I got one more at 6400, but we'll skip that one. Yeah, this is one I took out at nighttime, and the camera focuses without any problem. For people who do like law enforcement or detective work, whereas the utmost picture quality isn't important as just getting a decent picture. I'm hoping I explain that. You know, just getting a good enough picture for evidence and stuff. They're probably going to be shooting in JPEG anyway. And so anybody that shoots at this high ISO of 16,000 is probably not going to be worried about, you know, ISO noise and stuff as much. However, I did want to show you that this is JPEG out of the camera, untouched. Now let me zoom in, and you can see there's not a lot of noise. Not much. The Digit 6 processor is doing quite a good job. Now it's still very soft. I think I was focusing the best I could over on this little, what do you call it? Little store across the street here. But just look at it, you know, without any touching or noise reduction, it looks really, really good. Now, it could use some sharpening definitely thrown in, but like I said, we're not worried about the lens here. But the camera did an excellent job, even at ISO 16,000, of clearing up the noise here. this is extremely impressive. I would not considered on the 70D of even shooting anything close to 16,000. Well, even at 12,800, it's just completely out of the question. So for the fact that I'm able to shoot at 16,000 here, if I really wanted to, you know, if I decided to drop photography and just go into the detective work, you know, I really could. And this isn't too bad. And let me see, yeah, f2.8, 50 millimeter, 16,000, 1/50th of a second, and which is why it's a little soft. But really, you know, not too bad here. I'm actually, you know, fairly impressed. You know, I wasn't expecting it to be this good. Now, one of the things that's noticed here is, first thing I noticed was the ISO performance. It is about a third to a half a stop better than the Canon 70D. The higher megapixels makes it seem a little bit better than that. When you zoom in 1:1, it is only about half to, it could be a little bit more than half. But what you're really going to notice is that the color noise, you know, the sensor noise and stuff is dramatically less. And that's because it has a lot better dynamic range in these photos. So if I want to pull up, since we're in develop mode here, let's pull up the shadows. As you notice, we're able to pull up a lot more out of the shadows and stuff here. And this is still a JPEG, mind you. And of course, we're still able to pull down the highlights. If I want to pull up the clarity, make it a little sharper, you know, look a little cleaner, and the vibrance, you know, you can still work with ISO 16,000 if you really had to. Let's kick in a little sharpening here. Let's pull up. And a little noise reduction. Yeah, you can clean it right up. So, yeah, I wouldn't never take a photo at ISO 16,000 for any kind of portraiture work or any kind of artistic work. But if I just had to get a good, decent photo at ISO 16,000, it's there. It's there. And like I said, I'm highly impressed with the Canon 80D, a lot more than I thought I was going to be. And I think a lot of other people will be too when they actually start taking photos of this. The dynamic range is improved. I don't know if it's gotten as good as, say, the Nikon or the Sony as far as dynamic range is yet. But from all the other videos I've also watched from other photographers, even comparing it to the 5D Mark III, it has more dynamic range. So if you shoot at ISO 100, you're going to notice a huge amount more dynamic range, you know, from the camera and stuff. So, really impressed. Even impressed with the improved dynamic range. Impressed with the higher ISO capabilities of this camera. Even though I'll never shoot at ISO 16,000 again, I did it just for this this video. I'm actually fairly impressed here. I'm pretty sure that I can go out and shoot anywhere between ISO 100, 800, and feel comfortable with this camera, knowing I'm not going to have no noise that ruins my photos. So, anyway, that's it for this video. I thought I'd just share this with everybody, show some high ISO previews. Like I said, don't pay attention to the sharpness on these. Wasn't using a high quality lens. I was just using, like I said, about 18 to 30, not 1830, but 18 to 250 super zoom lens from Sigma. Super zooms are not sharp. They're sharper, or as sharp as a kit lens, but not as sharp as a high quality lens. And what you expect from a $350 lens anyway. But like I said, I still recommend the lens because you get to walk around a bird park or anywhere traveling, don't have to take your lens off. So that's, you know, a big plus. But anyway, like I said, the 80D is, I think it's did a remarkable good job here on all these the photos and stuff. It's really holding its own. And shooting at ISO, say 5,000, you know, up to 5,000, you can still print 14, 17-inch prints without any notice of noise. I really do feel that. Now, you're still going to lose dynamic range, so you have to be careful there. But if you're doing wildlife and stuff where they're in the shadows and whatnot, and you can't use the flash, yeah, it's going to work pretty good. So, anyway, I'm leaving my camera set at auto ISO up to 6400 if I have to. You know, most of the time I set it manually anyway, but if I'm walking around a bird park and whatnot, yeah, you just leave it auto ISO. So, anyway, really impressed. Canon's did a remarkable job on this camera. I do have a review coming out before too long, but I got a lot more testing and stuff to do. That way I give a thorough review. So do look for a thorough review. Was going to plan on doing it this weekend, but it's not. It's going to be next weekend. So it's been raining, so I ain't got a lot of the photos and stuff done. I'm going to try to get another video also of just image quality alone with a higher quality lens, like my 1835, just so people can do a little more pixel peeping on some more images. But anyway, that's it for this video. Just showing you the ISO performance, and how it looks in RAW. Like I said, those are all RAW, not any noise removed yet. So anyway, if you liked this video, thought it was helpful, thought it's informative, how about a thumbs up? Thumbs is always highly appreciated. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, be sure to subscribe. Subscribe is free, it's for you, and lets you know when I release more videos. Until next time, everyone, thank you for watching.
Give it one more chance.